Oh, the big bad Bruins. What?
It's the big bad Bruins.
Yeah, that's what I said, the big bad Bruins.
No, you said the big bad Bruins. It's the big bad Bruins.
That's exactly the same thing.
It isn't.
I don't get it.
You may not. But they do.
Look what it is! Of a high-quality Bruins franchise! Golly. The 2025 Predators just absolutely mollywopped you fools. What is happening? Like, I know the injuries are bad. Not, like, we are missing our top two defensemen and our captain and really best left winger. I was going to say only left winger, but that's not fully fair. I know the injuries are bad. Come on. Like, this is just painful. And you know, Ty Anderson actually just posted about this on Twitter. Dude's a phenomenal follow, by the way. Covers the Bruins greatly. Basically a whole diatribe about how ownership, if I was an owner, I'd be most concerned about the fact that, like, not only is it bad hockey, it's not entertaining hockey. This is brutal to watch. That game ended 6-3. There were 9 goals scored that game. And frankly, that was not a very entertaining game. Like, I know scoring's supposed to mean entertaining. No, that was brutal. That was gross. They couldn't connect a couple of passes. Most of the lines are just getting bulldozed. Ugh. Even the goals that were scored weren't impressive for, like, the Preds. It was just wide open shit over and over again. My goodness. Let's get to some positives. All right, there's going to be some positives somewhere in here. Discord link below. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. Let's get to some positives. That loss puts us back into the bottom 10 of the league, which means the pick, potentially gets better. Our odds get better. So every loss, not that I'm rooting for them, but when they come, there's that little bit of silver lining. We're going to have to go with that. I'm sorry. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it here. The Predators. This is the second match of the year with them. We lost 4-0 to them in October, which might have been a red flag, but, it's October. It's the first month of the season. The red flag would be the Predators had lost the first 5 games of their season. We were the 6th and looked horrible. And then came in and soundly beat us. And then won a couple more games. And then went right back to being horrible. Might have been a red flag. They suck. The Predators suck. Their big acquisitions didn't work. And I fell for it. I'm going to be honest. I thought their coach was going to be a candidate for Jack Adams because Chiverly taking a team that was like, eh. And then, like, they're really good. The coach gets a bunch of recognition, even though sometimes it's more of a roster change than a coaching thing. Stamkos is on a 13-game pointless streak, so all of us tweeted before the game that, yep, that's going to end tonight. Can guarantee that. It did. They are 21st on the power play, which is shocking given the moves that they had made in the offseason. 11th on the penalty kill, 31st offensively, 6 goals tonight, by the way, and 28th defensively. It's been bad basically everywhere for the Predators. Even their goaltending, which is typically a strength. If there's one other team in the league that has we always have a goaltender, that's the Predators. The Bruins and the Predators. And both of these teams aren't getting great goaltending. Saros has an 898 so far this season, and Anunin has an 888. Neither one strikes a bunch of confidence. They don't have a single point per game player. Stamkos is forced to play center because no one has been able to handle the 2C role, which is really bad because the whole acquisition of Stamkos was based on no, he's going to be a winger. He doesn't have to be responsible defensively because we know that part of the game had gone to hell for him. and yet he is forced to play 2C for him because Novak could not step into that role and lock it down amongst a few other players. But Tommy Novak was that shrewd fantasy pickup earlier this season for some of us, thinking that he'd be a game changer. I luckily moved away from that pretty quickly. Yeah, not great. Oh, and they also have the worst road record in the league. The Bruins are hosting this game against Stamkos, who hasn't scored a point in 13 games, against a team that has the worst road record in the league. Let's keep all those things in mind. The Bruins lineups: Geeky, Zaka, Pasta, Merkulov, Lindholm, Coyle, Kepke, Patra, Brazeau, Veal, Beecher, Kostelic, Zadorov, Carlo, Lorai Peak, Wotherspoon, Osterley, and then Swayman and Net. Before we get on to other stuff, if you had to pick a forward line out of those four that would have looked the best that game, what would your assumption be? Because I'm guessing it wouldn't be the Merkulov, Lindholm, Coyle line, but by far they were your best line, and they basically broke even. That might not even be fair. They might not even gotten that high on the list there. Tough. Trent Frederick has been traded. I made a video about it. I'm not going to go into great details here, but he is getting sent over to the Oilers. He's already with the Oilers for the Blues second rounder this year, the Oilers fourth rounder next year, and a right-handed defensive prospect, Max Wayner, who is likely to be more of a 6th or 7th D option. I go into much more detail with some pros and cons in the previous video, so feel free to check that out. Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy, Brad Marchand, all still out. Marchand, we do have an update on. He is week to week. I doubt that changes anything for the trade deadline for him. I really don't feel like he was getting moved. I do think that they should look into that. By the way, actually, I saw a bunch of discourse on Twitter, because I don't want to talk about this game yet, so we're going to talk about other things. On Twitter about Crosby and how he's not getting traded. He doesn't want to get traded. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm watching the fans go at each other about this kind of stuff. And I get it from the perspective of the fan who doesn't want to trade their guy because he should retire with the team. With Crosby, that makes all the sense in the world, right? Malkin, meh, but I'm not a Pens fan, so maybe they see him on that level. Letang, certainly not. Again, maybe for them. But, like, for the Bruins, Bergeron obviously was in that class of, like, no, I would rather not have the assets from the trade. I want this guy to be a Bruin for his whole career. That mattered to me as a fan enough to omit future assets in a trade. Not that that was ever really going to happen, but he was that class of player to me. Those classes of players are extremely rare and basically should be, right? Otherwise, everything kind of falls apart. You can't just be like, well, he's the best guy on the team, so we can't move him. Like, no, you can still move him, right? Pasternak, I hope in 5 or 6 years' time, is also a guy like that. I want him to play his whole career with the Bruins. I don't want him to get moved. But he's not right now. It would be insane to trade Pasta right now, obviously, but that's where I'm at. And so Crosby fits that mold for them. Like, it makes sense for those fans to go, no, I would rather have Crosby for his whole career. It's just something different about it from a fan perspective. I get that. Personally, Marchand isn't on that level to me. He is a Bruin through and through. He is a great Bruin. He's an all-time Bruin. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He is a guy that you could argue might end up in the rafters. Like, that is who Brad Marchand is. He's also just not that guy that I need him to play his entire career for the Boston Bruins. That's my take. That's not me saying you're wrong if you feel otherwise. I just felt like it was necessary to say in this one because I'm seeing all this discourse. The trade deadline's in a couple days. I mentioned it in the other video, but I will be streaming at 1 p.m. on the day of the trade deadline on Friday. I have a very important work meeting I have to be at earlier than that, and I'm really upset because I took that day off. But they said I had to be there, and it was very important for me to be there, so I have to be there. Work. Well, that being said, there are certain players that do sit on a pedestal, and it makes sense from a fan's perspective to go, absolutely not. Do not trade this guy. I need him to have been with my team for his entire career. Anyone can choose that guy. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, depending on how you see that. But if I told you that Bergeron and Crosby and McDavid and guys like that, I know Bergeron's not Crosby or McDavid, but like in my head, he's one of the greatest hockey players who've ever lived. That's just where I'm at. So like, if your franchise has that guy, does Marchand fit that mold? Is Marchand the guy that you absolutely are like, he needs to play his whole career as a Bruin? I would rather not have the assets and have him be a Bruin for his whole career. It's a respectable answer, but I'd like to know how many people are at that point and other people who are like, I'm 5% below that, man. If the deal's right, I'd get rid of him. It's just that little bit. You don't even need to be like, oh no, I'm here. Nope. This is Marchand not getting traded ever. He's a Bruin for life. If your opinion is here, that means you're still open to a trade. Price just has to be right. See what I'm saying? All right, let's talk about this game. This big, dumb, stupid game. Dumb. Puck drops! And because the Bruins are going to continue doing this, just to get our hopes up a little bit, 4:25 in, Carlo's going to dump the puck down the right side. It swings all the way around to Stammer on that left side, who tries to bump it down the net to Stastny. He is not going to be able to handle it. Lindholm's going to get there and push this puck up to the front of the net, and Coyle jumps to that net front and swipes the puck past Saros. It's 1-0 less than 5 minutes into the game. You feel good about that? You feel good about that? The Boston Bruins, they're going to fight to the bitter end. They're not. 5:32 in. This is math. This is more than a minute later. This is a minute and 7 seconds later. Zacha is skating underneath the left circle of our zone. He retrieved a puck along the wall, and he's skating around bottom of the left circle. And he's got a player on his back. I do not know what he was trying to do here. They speculated a bunch during the broadcast. I have no clue. I have no clue what he was actually trying to do here. But what it looks like is he just pushes the puck up into the right side of the slot there, and Novak gets to just walk into one and smash this past Swayman's blocker, and it's 1-1 a minute and 7 seconds after we took the lead. Because that's what the Bruins do. That's a really bad play by Zacha. I was actually surprised by him this game. He looked really bad all game. And, I mean, Zacha's had some not great games. He's had some good games, but he never just looks awful the whole game. And this was... I think the trade might have shook some people. It might have shook some people. 8:27 left. The 31st ranked offense and the worst road record in the league, Predators, are already at 9 shots, and 4 of them I would consider high danger. This is just dumb what we're watching right now. Coyle is stripped of the puck in the neutral zone at this time. Lohrei and Peak try to scramble back versus the 3-on-2 that forms. Lohrei gets his stick tangled up with Stamkos. I don't know if Stamkos is chicken winging it. It looks like it to me. Maybe he hooked him a little bit. I'm not really sure. Either way, he's trying to get over to his side where O'Reilly receives a pass across the slot. Lohrei can't get there because he's got the stick inside of Stamkos. You know what I mean? And O'Reilly's going to get that backdoor chance past a sprawling Swayman. It's 2-1. 7:10 left. Bellows for tripping. We're going to the power play. It's shit. Everything's shit. This is so negative and sad. I'm a grown man. I got to get over it. It's fine. Second period starts. 5:08 in. Bruins are getting a few shifts in the ozone. They're getting a little spicy. And they're going to get set up again. And this is kind of a nothing burger of a play, but I mean, pucks to the net is never a bad idea. Puck gets moved around in the zone. It gets to Osterley, who walked into the kind of center point of that right circle, and he just tries to get this on net. Takes a weird deflection, ends up sliding past the low glove side of Saros. It's 2-2. It's Osterley's first as a Bruin. A classic good for him moment. You'll love to see it. And we're tied. And we go, okay, this team sucks. We're playing a shit team. Like, come on. We can put something together here. 6:25 in, which is also more than a minute. It's a minute and 17 seconds later. Stammer is going to get another point. This time, I didn't mention the first one Stammer got a point on. Yeah, it's good for him. He broke the 13-game pointless streak, so he's going to get another one. This time it's Lohrei, who is first to the puck in the corner of our zone that he tries to send up the wall. It is easily collected by O'Reilly just a few feet from him. It's not even... Oh my gosh. And O'Reilly turns and looks into the center of the ice and goes, oh, Lorai's D partner, Lorai is still pretty close to me, hasn't had time to scramble back to the net front. No, Peak is just standing next to Swayman, like on the inside. Just no man's land. He's not covering jack shit. And O'Reilly has what is basically 6 feet of a passing lane to just chuck this the direction of Stamkos, who's in the bottom of the left circle or the far circle, slams that past Swayman, and it is 3-2. The defensive structure was embarrassing. It looked like we were on a penalty kill for a huge portion of this game. And we weren't on the penalty kill ever in this game. Not once did we take a penalty. Stuff happened. They just didn't call it. I think everyone just feels bad for us at this point. 3:38 left. Stamkos is going to go for hooking. It's a 1-goal game. You're on the power play. Do something with it. Absolutely not. But during the power play, you'll really love this. Geeky fails an extremely simple play that would have been tapping the puck to open space in front of Pasternak so he could skate into it and would have a clear breakaway. But instead, Geeky tries to tap it directly along the blue line behind Pasternak. This is what really bothers me about this play. Had Pasta waited on the blue line for that and then collected, wouldn't have been a breakaway. There would have been 3 Predators back by this point. I don't know what Geeky's thinking here. Lead him with the puck. It's just insanely stupid mistakes over and over again. It's a 2-on-1 the other way, by the way, because Geeky and Pasta are caught high. It's a turnover right in the neutral zone, and Swayman has to come up with a huge save to keep this one close. We're going to the third period. We're down a goal against an absolute dog water Predators team. Do something. Push them. Shove them. Something. 5:35 in. It's a great goal for the Bruins. It's painful, but it's great because the Bruins have the Preds pinned in their zone, and they've attempted 3 separate cross-slot plays for one-timers, none of which have actually resulted in a shot, let alone a shot on net. Finally, the defense breaks down as Pasternak makes a nice play to recover and settle a puck, and then chips it over 2 sticks to Zacha, who's at the bottom of the right circle. He's going to fling this across the slot to Geeky, who's got a backdoor tap in. It's 3-3. That's Geeky's 20th. We'll talk about it in the game notes. And at least they wasted a few minutes before they dashed our hopes again. Because about 3 minutes later, just under 3 minutes, it's an easy zone entry for the Predators because we just back off the blue line again because our gap control is crap because we're bad. And Osterley and Zacha go for the same guy, which is Forsberg, along the left wall. How many times have we seen this season where a forward and a defenseman both go at the same guy who's close to the wall, and the guy just needs to chip it into the slot where there will be 2 of his buddies waiting for a, short-term 2-on-1 there, which is exactly what happens. Forsberg chips it to Macaron, who is, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He's going to have it on the left side of the slot. Wotherspoon's just going to have to make do with this 2-on-1 situation. He's not able to stop it. Marchessault is going to receive a pass for a backdoor tap-in, and it is 4-3. Okay, still 11 minutes left against a really bad team. You can still do something here. 63 seconds later. Peak turns the puck over in the neutral zone. It's a 3-on-2 coming back the other way. Stamkos down the right side. Flicks this puck to O'Reilly, who whacks it out of the air for a backdoor finish on Swayman. Notice how many times I said backdoor. Almost every goal against Swayman in this one was some sort of he had to go horizontally across with speed to try to make the save. I know there's a lot of people who are just pissed at Swayman and just dunking on him now. I get it. Watch some of these goals. What is a guy supposed to do at this point? Just bad. I'm not saying Swayman was good either, because I don't think he was very good in this game, but Jesus, the defense was so bad. 2:08 left. Jankowski, empty netter at 6-3. And that's your game. The game against the Predators, who have the 31st ranked offense, you allowed 6 goals. They have the worst road record in the league. You lost by 3. Oh, it's bad. Geeky's game notes. Geeky's 20th of the season is awesome. Dude deserves a ton of credit for it, regardless of who he's playing with. That's something to feel really good about it. It's a career high. Obviously, everything from this point is a career high for him from a couple weeks ago, really. But that's great to see, and his celebration showed it. He was really passionate about getting that goal and getting the game tied up and everything. And I'm assuming that locker room's not fun to be in between periods with games like these. So I'm sure there's a lot of passion. And then they just gave it up because, yeah. Rask was in the booth to start the second period. He was great. I got to check out the simulcast thing that they do. But he was great in both a sentimental sense where it was just nice to see him, but also he was just playing really good. He had some nice, insightful things to say. He was really analytical. He also said something really meaningful, I thought, where he mentioned when the Bruins used to have a lot of leaders in the room. Now, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said when they used to have leaders. And yeah, I mean, anyone can see it with this team. There's just not a lot of leading going on. There's not a lot of camaraderie, fighting for each other, rah, whatever. This team's lost at sea right now in a lot of ways. I don't think he was directly inflicting anything on Marchand or anything, but I think it's clear that no one behind Marchand is stepping up. It doesn't seem like a very vocal room. They've lost 7 of 8. I know the injuries are bad, but this is just brutal to watch. It's brutal to watch. The pick potentially gets better with every loss, though, so silver linings, people. But it's 7 of 8 is gross, and it really tells the story of a team. The next man up isn't working, and again, the injuries are bad. But someone has to step up and make a play, and no one. I mean, Pasternak is the only guy out there. It looks like he's on an island half the time, and he's getting double and triple teamed, and he's still trying to make things happen. This is just bad hockey. This is really bad. And it might only get worse. I don't know. We'll see what happens for the rest of the season. But we got 20 games to go, guys. Or something like that. 19? We can do it. We can do it. Go Bees. Go Bees! And of course, here at the end of the video, I love to give some shout outs to the fantastic high quality inspectors who help support the channel and keep this running. I super appreciate every single one of you, from the role player tier, the top line tier, and of course the all-star tier. We are going to do our shout outs for this top line tier. Thank you so much to Sean Kreider, Michael Kamara, Chris and Erica, Kevin Timperley, Quackin' Platypus, JM, Negev79, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland22, GD Viperworks, Len Kreutz, Brock Nope, Han Slobo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Your top line material. But now we got to move on to our all-star tier members, the absolute legends. We have Jacob Pratt, Jake Brower, Dampen, JG's 12, Mark S., Ann Hustis, Lorenzo Wood, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Joel, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tukton D. Tashi, Bruins Smash, D.A. Kingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Dutes42, and Jeremy. Thank you all for all of the support and love that you are all giving. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, Go Bees!